Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Josh, joined as ever by Ben Roy Turner, who in an office full of big bad Resident Evil nerds is perhaps the biggest and baddest, because we have some RE news today, which comes off yet another leak. And I know pretty much every news video this week has been an alleged leak, but this one has some validity in my opinion. It comes from the Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dusk Golem, who has a history with leaking Resident Evil things. A lot of them have come true in the past, and they just say some interesting things about where the series is going, what's currently in development, and essentially what's happening after Resident Evil 3 drops. And the main thing is that Resident Evil 8, which we've all speculated to be in development, has actually been rebooted. About 6 or 7 months ago, Capcom essentially went back to the drawing board, and all the work that they had worked on has been thrown out in favor of something new, which does kind of line up with what we heard before, because we knew the likes of Evil VR was saying that Capcom were originally working on a version of Resident Evil 8 that was going to follow on straight after Resident Evil 7. It was going to be set on an abandoned island. It was going to investigate Evelyn's sort of like, history and those sorts of bioweapons. But apparently that is being retooled in the wake of Resident Evil 3. Benroy, what do you think of this?
Well, it's quite interesting because they've gone, Capcom have gone on board and said like, each sort of Resident Evil set is like, they see it as a trilogy. Like you got 1, 2, 3 that sort of play sort of similar, the same. Then you got 4, 5, and 6 that are kind of like, they see these sort of things as trilogies. And then when you go to 7, we've got a new sort of first person perspective, and it's kind of like those scary games. One of the ones
like Amnesia and stuff.
Yeah. Amnesia, and I always forget these games.
You mentioned this to me before, actually.
Probably last time we did this. And it's interesting because they didn't, normally it's not copy and paste as per se, but from the first in that lineage of the threes, then the next one's almost entirely out the same. Yeah. And so it means to me is like, are they going to go back to what we now have in 2 and 3, because there's been 2 sold so much. It sold more than original 2. It sold more than 7. Yeah. I think they think the same is going to happen for 3, and it's kind of like rebooted the franchise and brought it back. And they're also not scared to do this.
Well, I mean, like we've seen them set a precedent before,
Yeah, like with RE4, they had like 5 versions of that game. 4 or 5 versions.
Yes.
And one of them became Devil May Cry. Like, they're not afraid to throw it in the bin and start again, as you say.
Well, we've seen them, like you said, in the pursuit of keeping Resident Evil fresh over the years, to completely just shelve entire projects and then start from scratch, which is allegedly what they're doing here. For me, and I've said this on multiple videos in the past, that although 2 and I assume 3 is going to be hugely successful, and it returned, the franchise back to that, the perspective and style of gameplay that 4 pioneered, for me it would be a shame for them to not follow through in at least one more game that feels like Resident Evil 7, because although that was a departure from the series, I thought that it was really interesting and they had a lot of cool ideas that could have been properly seen through and seen that potential fulfilled in another game. So even though 2 was awesome and that was a great game, I don't want everything to play like 2, because I think for me the entire point of having these 2 different series now, having the remake series with 2 and 3 and having Resident Evil 7 and 7 and 8, that allows them to have their cake and essentially eat it too. You get the old style while also delivering something new. So for me, it would be a shame to see them completely go back on what they started.
I've been thinking about it. I don't know if they could ever do this, but one where like the game is almost played like as both, because they're gonna have to do there's sprinkling of seeds in Resident Evil 7 from games from all across the lineage, from like, and even in like the Outbreak files, like they've got mentions of characters all around. So we know it's definitely, and obviously Chris Redfield at the end, spoilers, and we know it's definitely in that sort of world, but we need to sort of kind of bring it back more into the big pot that we have of Resident Evil stuff. Yeah. Obviously you don't need like the Weskerys from on the floor. But like, maybe we have half the game where you play as someone like a Jill Valentine or something, and then like far in the future, or any of our protagonists, and then we have the Resident Evil 7 Spade also put in there, and we bring it back into one sort of big thing.
Well, I think that's where sort of Resident Evil 7 was both good and bad, because it kind of, at the time, I think a lot of people were sort of sick of the, the bloated lore. I know I was after Resident Evil 6, even though I quite liked that game. I was sort of sick of these scenarios and these characters.
Where's Wesker's son?
Where's Jake, eh? I was sort of sick of that, and I enjoyed that 7 gave it this kind of soft reboot feel where it was connected to the other games, but it was definitely trying something new, and the story was only tangentially connected, and it didn't really appear to take place in that world at first. But then I think 2 and 3 have proven that you can make a scary game, and you can also make that older lore relevant and modern again by, delivering these characters and sort of contextualizing their stories and stuff. And I think that probably has shook them into thinking, well, maybe we need to go back to,
It was a soft reboot done right, because I don't think you get 2 and 3 remake without getting the fire that was 6, quenching it with 7, and then we can kind of like simmer on again, sort of thing. Because it was just to this point where the whole of China's being destroyed. Like, how do you regress back into it and get the scaries back in there, sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe like the 7 storyline could even be some sort of spin-off. They're not scared of doing spin-offs either, right?
No, that's true, yeah. I mean, I'm sure in the Evil VR report from way back when, apparently Capcom were wondering whether they should make Resident Evil 8 a spin-off, like you said, and follow it on from that style, which could be a way for them to, keep pleasing fans with, that style and doing something new without making it Resident Evil 8. Perhaps that's what it's been rebooted as. Dusk Golem, the aesthetic game, it doesn't sort of shed any light on what it's become because it's still very early on in development, but maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're focusing on, spinning something off from 7 and then having 8 kind of go back to basics, as it were.
Because I kind of miss some of the old, they're old now, like the side franchises, like so you've got there like the Revelations sort of thing, like I miss them sort of like, we get more lore on the side and we get to see what Barry's doing while we can carry on the main quest.
Well, Ben Roy, it's funny you should say it, because another tidbit that Dusk Golem actually had was that there is a new Resident Evil game coming, presumably and hopefully next year, but it won't be another remake and it won't be Resident Evil 8, so that does leave the door open for perhaps Resident Evil, is it not Resistance? Revelations 3, yeah, you just said, or, Operation Raccoon City 2 or something like that, something everyone wants, I don't know.
Because there was major, like, especially in the second one, major lore dumps dropped where like we got the second Wesker child and all that sort of thing. We got Barry back and we got to see what Claire was up to. So Revelations 3 can even deal more deep into cleaning up all that side stuff. Or it could just 7 stuff could go into a Revelation sort of thing, and we can go to another island that keeps getting rumored all the time.
The Resident Evil is obsessed with sort of these secret islands and also secret bases, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's kind of like Metal Gear. It's like unless you do that, then you've got to go out into the wild sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like what else do we do?
Yeah.
Another tidbit was that that there are apparently going to be no more remakes after 3, which we have been talking about in the office pretty much every day, whether or not we're going to see a remake of Code Veronica X or even a remake of Resident Evil 4 and 5, but it doesn't seem like that's what they're interested in, and I think that's probably for the best to give, those more recent games time to breathe, because then where do you kind of stop?
If we're going to get like 8, we're getting them at like a Rev 3, then we don't really need the remakes at the moment, but I think that down the line, we need like Code Veronica X just sort of like brought into this new sphere of like, because the original is brilliant, but along the lines of like 0, 1, 2 and 3, either have it that same sort of style with the boosted graphics, or just reignite the gameplay, because again there is so much in that game as well, and that game is one of the ones that's not afraid to get weird with people with magical fire powers, and Wesker going full Matrix in it. Like it seriously gets weird and it's seriously worth playing.
Yeah.
And I think that doing that will bring it more to the front, and I think it could sell gangbusters like these other 2 that have been going out.
I mean, yeah, even though that, Code Veronica X doesn't have the name brand as Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3, if it's done in the same style, and if 3's received as well as 2 was, I feel like Resident Evil fans, even both old and new, would be eager for something else. I haven't really played Code Veronica X, even though you keep telling me to, and that would be a way for me to play it personally. And things like Resident Evil 0, which did get a remaster, but it was done in the style of the original original remake for 1. It does, like I said, get down a rabbit hole of when do you stop? Do you then go back to remaster the original Resident Evil 1 in a new style, so then there's 3 different versions of that game? I think Capcom genuinely could, but it's a matter of, playing things close to the chest and leaving people wanting more rather than just trying to milk it for everything it's worth.
I reckon 3 needed this because 3 was literally on nothing now. It's like it had been sort of like laid dormant, its own little time capsule of, I think against GameCube, but mainly like PS1 sort of thing. So just like over there, and the world of the Dreamcast, which dead forever. But I think if we get 8 next, I mean, I think everyone wants 8. Everyone wants this series to go forward.
Yeah.
And then if we get another Rev, which would be probably placed between like some of the animated films, like between 6 and 7, just to like bridge the gap a bit more, I think that'd be great.
We're also apparently getting remasters of other Capcom franchises in the RE engine, so that would be awesome. I mean, just bring Dino Crisis back and then just have an excuse to print millions and millions of dollars. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Would you like to see Resident Evil 8 come sooner rather than later? And are you a bit gutted that it might have been internally rebooted? But either way, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't know, I've been Josh, this has been Ben Roy, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.